Hey, welcome to my video. This is the daily energy stroke tarot reading for the day of the 5th of May 2021. So this is where I put energy and tarot work that I do together to bring a narrative to help guide your day, help you reach your greatness and your potentials, and knowing with foresight the energies that you might feel within you, around you, and within others. So for the 5th of May, 5th of the 5th, we have on the bottom of the deck, the Emperor card, so keeps coming up, number 4. This is where he's sitting on his firm pillar, firm foundation. It's representative of Big Daddy Saturn, the rules, the laws, the way that things are done, the authorities within this realm and beyond. But it speaks of the Emperor energy running through you and building your firm foundations and being absolutely staunch on keeping the authority over your space, your physical space, your energetic space, your spiritual space, all of your elemental space, and taking the authority and setting rules that meet natural law. Now, I've been feeling the Emperor card deeply recently, and I've been feeling Saturn deeply recently, and I am no astrologer. I absolutely have reverence for astrologers, particularly the Leo King and Maroon Matu. They are the two that I trust, the work that they do. Don't know them personally, but the work that they do is exceptional. But what I do is project myself through the lens of what I feel to be the planetary aspects, to be able to use the above in my below and in my middle, in my present, in my balance point within the scales. And I felt I felt a lot of energy lately of just energy speaking out to say that for those that have got eyes to see and ears to hear, you're feeling the calls of the goddess energies, the gods energies, the divinities within everything, of all of the layers of creation, right up to the planets, to say that this realm takes the vibration, it takes the frequency that comes from below and from above. And they have built so many systems to manipulate and distort, just like they did to the divine feminine, you know, the downtrodden, the representative of that, the female bodies, writing them out of medical history, writing them out of the knowledge that they had as healers, as herbalists, as alchemists within the communities. And that a lot of science platform foundation is stolen from there. So they put like these many veils over the energies that are being emitted naturally from the energies that have been here in past lives, you know, that have been here before us, that had some of this knowledge, way up to the planets and the frequencies that they put out, and the different frequencies, like ourselves, when challenged, opposed, or aligned with different energies, move in so that, you know, that there's movement and there's different alignments, and it brings up a different reaction. We do that with people. Other same people can bring up a loving reaction, and other people can bring up a reaction of, oh, I don't want to be out of that space. It opposes us. And so to look through the lens of Saturn and then to put this black cube around it, the 4 corners around it, box it up, quite literally, box it off, we would say here where I am, is so unfair. Because the energies that Saturn would, I feel, looking through the lens of Saturn from my point of view, from the messages that I've been getting, is the energies that would be emitted from Saturn would be of you been able to channel that, transmute that into your own number 4, into your own emperor status, into your own foundations and authority, divinity and sovereignty, and ability to make things work, plan things out, bring rules into your own life that work, so that they align with different aspects of you, so that then your physical is representative of that. And we've been taught, even from figuring out what they've been doing with this black cube, which is what I got when I looked at this card. We've gained a lot of truth, a lot of knowledge about the occult and what they are doing from that energy point. Manipulating time, time jumping to stay a step ahead. They've had us be able to dig and know that, and not being able to stop many of us doing that. We've been persevering that truth, but we need to establish it more from there, to then look at Saturn through a different lens, to look at the frequency that it can emit when we can move that construct, that box, that black cube out of our consciousness, out of our field of possibilities. And so this is where I feel this calling from this planet. My good friend Isaac will know more and maybe be able to back up what I'm saying. He's a fabulous astrologer. Yeah, it feels like these energies, these big beings to small elementals, to big elementals, to crying out for those who can hear them, to say, yeah, we've been represented wrongly. Even the name witch, I've been called a witch. I do witchy things and I'm proud of it and I'm good at it. I've been called a witch, but look at the way they've put witch, or the little witch, oh, she's a witch, her. You know, those sayings, they brought about that label in my mind. And so I own the label for it, but I transmute the energy that people throw at me in a derogatory way with that label. And say, so when they say witchcraft, or when they ask me if I do witchcraft, or witchcraft that I do, are you interested in? Turn the words around on them and say, yeah, I've got many crafts. That's what they are, crafts. And I evolve like any good witch would, to use the different things that crop up as life on this realm evolves. Down to different flowers being discovered, to different insects, and working with that evolving. So yeah, you ask me if I do witchcraft, which witchcraft do you want me to tell you about? I do many. And that's what I feel these energies are shouting out and calling out for those that can hear it. And for those that can hear it, this Emperor card is speaking out to say, own it. And that comes with the Four of Swords on the bottom of the other deck. This speaks to taking time to reconnect into your subconscious, into your conscious, into your nine, into your field of possibilities. It's 4 and a 4 as well. So the 8, into the infinite, which is the 8 is representative of. To be able to really harness these energies that are ours to harness, that we have within us, that can connect with other energies that resonate at the same frequency at any given moment. And these energies are crying out to those, or stirring up in those that can see, feel, and hear them. And we need to take time out. During this time, it's saying, to take back your authority. Don't just focus on the physical. Don't just focus on how the physical is going to work for you. Make sure that you're giving just as much importance to taking time to be grounded and be connected to you, however you ground, however you feel the roots of you. To be able to take the time to transmute and harness these energies for your greatness. This is what it brings terror to the so-called powers that be. Terror. If the people who are here, that are connected to their soul, to their boat, those that can harness this kind of power and transmute it and own it. For us to do this, all of us in our full capacity, this is what brings terror, because this is where we can do the same things that this black cube can do. They can only do that by harnessing, distorting, and manipulating literally frequencies from Saturn and various other places. Saturn is calling out to say, you can harness me directly. You can harness all of this power. Look at the power it's given them. And they have to manipulate it. They have to distort it. They have to put a veil around it to be able to harness the power, but use it for their will. We can also harness that power directly, and we don't have to distort it. We can take the intent of having an authority, of being able to work with natural law. I just felt the cry of Saturn when I looked at these cards to say that these laws don't represent even the truth of how life balances, of how things actually work well. These layers of these systems that represent my energy in this realm don't represent actually in my highest frequency, as if the planet's talking. I know, but that's me. So it is talking, and I'm translating it into my words for you, you know, saying that, yeah, we all have the yin and the yang. We all have that balance. But that in my highest frequency, when I'm reacting well to the things around me, that energy is there. But we have forgotten that we can harness this and transmute this directly. So-called powers that be didn't forget. But there's many of us remembering, or there's many of us that just came here knowing, and just needed to grow that knowing and go through this experience and envelop ourselves in this tapestry of it, the stitching of it. So this is powerful. This is, you know, good news. This is, you know, get ready to absorb, to transmute, to initiate and action this power, this ability. And if you need any proof, just look at what they've managed to do in the lower frequency, in the lower aspect of it. Look at the authority and the power and control they have managed to have in their lives by knowing the knowledge of harnessing this power directly and being in relationship with it. And I've got tingles as I'm speaking. It's very, very powerful. And I'd love to have Isaac's take on it, knowing much more about the planets than this is all just intuitive. He knows the science behind it, and it's proper science, good science, natural science. So I'll find his link and put it in. He's got a good website. So the first card is the Ace of Swords in reverse. So this speaks of where this means like on point, pinpoint clarity and authority, sword of truth, your swords, your words. So therefore your thoughts, your air. Think that the very thing that the other womb in the body, you know, the masculine womb, the brain, the divine masculine aspect of the manifestation and creation through the womb, that is the consciousness, the thoughts, the air, then words. When it's in reverse, you can imagine through the description of just given of the upright, this is such confusion. This is so many today are succumbing to this confusion, to this veil, to the many veils that are being put around those that are susceptible to it. And that's difficult. You know, especially in Canada, some kind of you wouldn't think they could bring any more rules in there, but there's something happening today, something getting signed, something getting said that brings this other rule that causes utter confusion and a lack of clarity. And so with that, we've got the Six of Swords in reverse. And so this is where, if the Six of Swords is this literal boat trip over very chaotic waters that represent your emotions, that are fed by your mental state, your consciousness, your capacity, into calmer waters, because you are able to then take authority and dominion over your mental state, your air aspect, your swords, your thoughts and your words. And through that, in the upright, you impregnate it into the waters and it becomes calmer emotional space, and usually representative of that, you literally teleporting you somehow, creating circumstances around you, and very often, especially in personal readings, of a relocation or a travel of some sort that creates this balance. It's in the reverse. So again, for all that I've said that it would be in the upright, this is causing a de-evolve, if that's a word, a spiral down for many people who are susceptible to this. And unfortunately, especially, I'm really feeling Canada today. In places like Canada, there are people that are aware and awake and are in the upright with both of these cards, and this is very difficult to maintain the calm waters, the calm mental state. And this is where it is a bit of a numbers game. This is why we've been bringing in a lot of non-player characters. It's because it is a numbers game, in that, you know, you can't save a drowning person by leaning in, they'll pull you down. And so that's a difficult thing to contemplate today, and it's a difficult truth to tell. And it really does go back to, there's many of us, as are being called to do, to harness the real frequencies above and below us and around us, and use them for our power and authority, divinity and sovereignty. So in your personal lives, a lot of you might be experienced in today close individuals that actually go and get the roll-up a sleever. And that is difficult. That is what's coming up in the next cards, that brings it into a space. It's a reality of what we've been talking about for a long time, but still the reality hits and you think, didn't think I'd lose that one, you know? So we have the King of Swords as the next card. This, again, look at the stance, so similar. You know, this is where a lot of us are harnessing this energy from the Emperor, from the authority of the major arcana, the four, the foundation, the strategy, and we're using it and transmuting it into the King of Swords within ourselves and projecting that out. And this is clarified by the Two of Cups. So this is where 7 keeps coming up. So 4, 5, 6, or 6. And then this would be, for me, the 7 with the 6 and the 1 here. 7 keeps coming up, and it keeps coming up the 7 layers, either 7 layers up or 7 layers down. And so the separation of the two, of the people who are gaining more knowledge and more wisdom and more connection as these energies move by day, as they create their plans, we are naturally connecting, synchronistically connecting to ancient knowings, to remembering ourselves, to knowing thyself more. And the other people are in this reversed energy of actually separating the DNA lines, separating the themselves into a reality, into the ramifications spiritually, let alone physically, are not quite known yet. So this separation is very real, and it's important that you keep your mental state, that you keep your plan, you keep your strategy, and actually you start making plans and strategies, that you start thinking proactively, like these 2 cards would here. And this is Divine Masculine. What actions will you take? Sitting back and thinking about it, but then moving that into the Pentacles to what direction will you going? So you can't keep juggling forever. And this is a big contemplation for a lot of people today, of, in particular, when you think of like snakes shedding, you all know what that means. You know, when loved ones, when close ones, you know, when work colleagues are going down that line, you know, you start contemplating the ramifications. And so plans and strategies, thought being put into that, and eventually coming to a point of wisdom where this is where we are at. There will be a lot of, there's a tear, there's a rip in the timelines, there's a rip in the frequencies of people, from the highest to the lowest. And so we see that very much so today, and a lot of you feel that personally, and it's difficult. There's a lot of pressure to that part of this right now, and we're all here, thank goodness we're all connecting, and can gain wisdom and knowledge and strength from one another. I am super grateful for the people that I've got that are close to me and further and farther beyond that I can feel, because it can be a lonely journey, and this actually is exciting and weird and nerve-wracking at the same time to be here right now. There's also this elation that I have for being around people that I just feel I've either known before or I just resonate with so well, even if we can challenge each other and spar with each other with wisdom and words, and come to different conclusions, but both gain from it. I've got people around me that can do that, and I love that, because that hasn't been around the whole time in abundance in many people. And so that is something that we should all dwell in mentally today, and really give reverence to, and rejoice to, that we've got that, because that is a huge aspect of the power and strength that we can draw from in all of this. So we have the next card as the Seven of Pentacles. Again, 7 keeps coming up, those 7 layers, and the contemplation and looking at of what has already been worked for and achieved, what has already been built, but the contemplation of which way forward now. Again, planning, strategy. So bringing that mental state and strategy and planning into the physical with the Pentacles. We've got the 9 of Wands to clarify. 9 keeps coming up too. We've got the 9 of Wands to clarify the 7 of Pentacles. So this speaks of stopping and thinking, halting your fire, keeping your flame lit, but actually don't just go blindly wherever the wind blows you. Don't allow your flame to be blown out. Stop and pause and give real discernment. And this card keeps coming up in particular, I feel, because even that seems of the light right now, we're having to be very discerning about and very wary of. These tricks and these plans are all good. They've done it for a long time, and although you can see through half of them, sometimes another one creeps up, or another person in your individual life creeps up, and you think, what's the harm? Or you just don't contemplate the underlying things that are trying to dim your light or trying to make your journey harder. And it's a lot of discernment that's needed, and a lot of strategy, a lot of stopping and pausing and thinking before you jump into things. If you think you've thought enough on something, think again, and make sure that you've got clarity and intent behind your thoughts, your words, and your physical actions leading after that. So that's the reading for the 5th of May 2021. I appreciate you all. I adore you all, and thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Please like and share, and if you haven't, subscribe. If you want a personal reading, you can get in touch with me at truedivinemedia@gmail.com, or you can message me on Facebook at truedivine44. I've got a page over there too, a couple of pages actually, that you can friend me, add me, and have a look at those pages and give those a like. There's people talking together of like mind, so sharing different things that are coming up. So it's interesting and it's good networking. It's the only reason I stay over there. I love you all. Mwah.